All right, so let's get this going. Do you support increasing taxes for the rich in order to reduce interest rates for loans? This is a weird question. I mean, like, because here's my thing. When it comes to student loan debt, I believe in the idea of like instituting like some kind of like buying up the debt, government's buying up the debt, instituting like a 10 for 10 program, then telling schools they have to lower their costs or we're going to remove the government subsidies from them so that they get them in line. That's with in a way where it's not like super harmful to kids and like doesn't destroy them for the rest of their life. But do I specifically support increasing taxes for the rich in order to reduce interest rates? That's just such no. I guess this is a weird question. It's just a weird question. How important is this to you? Not that important, I guess. Should the federal government pay for tuition at four-year colleges and universities? No, and I'm pretty, yeah. Should the federal, and the reason is like I just stated before, like it's a personal choice, so you should have to invest into it. But like, and we have to stop pushing kids towards going to college per se. I mean, there's other places that should have kids going. We should be trying to put people into career fields that help the economy and help society, things that we're actually in need of. I really don't think that we need to like government. We don't need any more free colleges. Who cares? Stupid. I just don't believe in it. Should federal government fund universal preschool? What? I've never heard that before. I don't really know the benefits, so I'm gonna say other stances. I don't know. What should I say? No, I don't know. I don't know. No. It's not important to me at all. Maybe yes. Does it matter? I don't understand the universal preschool. I've never really talked about that. Should the electoral college be abolished? Let's see. Yeah, right here. Yes, and switch to a ranking system. It's very important to me. I think that. I mean, like, here's my thing. Like, I don't necessarily think the popular vote's the best way to go. I think that we should just, if we're gonna get rid of our system, let's go to a ranked voting system. Honestly, should a photo ID be required to vote? Here's the thing. Here's my thing with this. This is my problem with a voter ID. Is like, yeah, you should probably have to have an ID to vote. The problem is that it's not easy for everyone to afford an ID. It costs like $50 for you to get an ID without a driver's license, and like it's so in like poorer areas, it makes it difficult for people to actually get their identification. So it's like really hard to say. I don't know, man. I don't yet, but I like. Is there a yes but? Like yes, but if we're going to make it yes, but if we're going to make people use a voter identification card, then it should be your ID should be free. So I'm gonna make this like least important because I don't think it matters. Should foreigners currently reside in the United States have the right to vote? What is this? What does this mean? What? No, what the hell? Go back down. Well, I don't understand. Like, are they here legally? What does a foreigner mean? Are they here legally? Yes, but they should only be allowed to vote in local. Are they here legal? Okay, so it's not foreigners. No, only legal citizens should be allowed to vote. I don't understand this question. Like, what is a foreigner? Like, are you saying somebody here legally that's not part of the United States? Like, yeah, they should be able to vote on local elections as long as they're here legally. You shouldn't be able to vote for an election unless you're actually a citizen of the United States. But, like, it says foreigners, and then it says no, only legal citizens should be allowed to vote. This wording of this is so bad. This sucks. This is a shitty question. What is a foreigner? Let's look up what a foreigner is. Let's see. In their words. Let's see. I don't know. What is it going to say? Like, okay. Is there somebody coming to... I don't know what this... This is stupid. This is a dumb question. I'm just going to put no, only legal citizens should vote. And say somewhat. Because, like, I don't understand the wording. If they're here legally, you should be able to vote. If you're not a legal citizen, you should only be able to vote in local elections. But, like, this is such poor wording. Should political candidates be required to release their tax returns to the public? Who cares? Who really cares? I don't know. Who cares? Like, what does it matter? If they filed their taxes and then it was done legally, like, no, who cares? Like, that's just something that people do to, I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. It's not really very important to me. This is a serious, silly question. Should there be a limit on the amount of money a candidate can receive from a donor? I feel like this is like a maybe. I understand why you would say this. What are the other stances? I mean, yes, politicians should not be bought by wealthy donors. This is a good idea. Ban all political donations and publicly fund elections. Here's my thing: is I think it's okay for like corporations to be able to have like say like, hey, we want to give this person a platform and whatnot. Um, it's such a weird one, man. This is a tough one. This is a weird question. I just feel like my general opinion is like people should be able to contribute more money if they have more money. But like I generally don't think that politicians should be able to buy well with like donors. Um, Publicly fund elections, maybe. I don't know. Let's just go with this one. These are very interesting questions. They just feel very. They just lack. I don't know. I feel like they lack context sometimes. Should the minimum voting age be lowered? No. What are the other stances? No, it should be raised. Honestly, maybe. I don't know. Probably not raised. Like, here's the thing: is that like you know, have a lot of older people who have the time and like to actually go and vote, and like I feel like if we raised it, it would be a bad thing because you know you kind of need young people to contribute to the society and like speak up. This is actually a good idea, though. Any citizen that pays taxes should be allowed to vote. That's actually interesting. I never thought of that. That's actually I actually agree with that. I mean, I don't know how easy it would be though. Like, how do you differentiate like a 16-year-old not like working and not feasibly like that makes like well realistically or ideally rather yeah like sure. Um, I would say like yes, any citizen that pays taxes should be allowed to vote. That makes sense to me. I'll put it. It's not really very important to me. It's interesting. It's very thought provoking. I never thought about that. Um, should the U.S. build a wall along the southern border? Let's see the other stances. I would say no. Yes, make Mexico pay for it. That's stupid. Yes, high tech. Oh, this makes more sense. I'd actually be okay with this. High tech surveillance makes much more sense. That's the technology. That's the age that we're in. This is dumb. Not open borders. That I don't think we need that. Honestly, I would say that this makes the most sense to me. Yes, make it high like a tech surveillance. Again, I don't really care. It doesn't really necessarily matter to me. Um, should illegal immigrants fax to what are the other stances? You know, my thing is, how do you differentiate whether they pay their taxes or not if they're here legally? I don't know, man. Because, like, ideally, I would just say no. But if we kind of consider... Ideally, I would say no. Because I think that giving it to people who are illegal, it encourages them to stay and come here in the first place. What I would say is, like, this is a little weird because most people who are here illegally are here on overstayed visas. And, like, they're contributing to the economy. So I don't know how much of a negative impact it would have. I don't know what kind of a negative impact it would have on the economy if we didn't provide subsidized healthcare to them, you know. But I would generally say no. But I'm open to like conversation about it. To be honest with you, should illegal immigrants be offered in-state tuition rates at public college? No, I don't think so. Again, very, very. I mean, the other ones are again as long as they pay taxes. I mean, I don't know. They're here illegally. We shouldn't be. We really shouldn't be encouraging people to come here illegally. You know. Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't think so. Should the president be able to authorize military force against Al Qaeda without congressional approval? I don't know about that. I feel like probably not. No, probably not. I mean, I feel like that's the whole point. We have like the checks and balances system. No, isn't that the whole point of it? Again, this is something that I'm like super harping on. No, Congress should approve all military conflicts. It's ridiculous. Get the fuck out of here. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Not really that. I mean, it's kind of important to me, I guess. Should the U.S. assassinate suspected terrorists? I don't. What the fuck? I'm not. I don't know. Suspected terrorists? No. No, they should be capturing him in free trial. If it's suspected, like, how are you gonna, bypass due process? Okay, well, this here's the problem here. This is like, yes, only if there's undeniable evidence that they were planning to attack our country. That's not a suspected terrorist, and that's a legitimate terrorist. I would say planning to attack. I would. Okay, let's go with this one. Let's go with this one. This is very. So that's the problem. It says suspected, and then right here, this effectively confirms that they did it, or even planning it. I mean, if you're planning it, it's still. I would still say you're a terrorist. Should there be more restrictions on the current process of purchasing a gun? No, I would say the only real restriction. Well, yeah, strict background checks and psychological testing and training. That's not a terrible idea. I would say definitely closing the gun show loophole, which is basically, for all these you really know, it's just like private sellers selling guns. They don't have to provide any information. Um, this is very, very interesting. I could require strict background checks. Yeah, I'm going to say this one. This makes sense to me. I think the problem is with gun usage is like we have so much poverty in the United States that it's unrealistic to spread the usage of guns to people. I would say this makes sense to me. Should teachers be allowed to carry guns at school? No, I don't know. I understand the question. The thing is like you have some rough schools. What's going to stop a bunch of kids from beating the shit out of a teacher and taking a gun? So, like, I don't think that they really should. I mean, maybe hire professionally trained security guards. That's an okay idea. I'm just going to go with no, though, because I'm not super into it. You should allow swords, though. Yeah, you're right, man. Should victims of gun violence be allowed to sue firearm dealers? No, that's silly. Unless the gun malfunctioned. That's a silly question. What's the other stances on that? Only dealers? Why? Being a victim of gun violence doesn't mean that that individual got the gun illegally. I wonder if like the reason they would do that is to make it so that like gun manufacturers actually do a better job at not being a poo-poo head. But I'm gonna say no. Do you support the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act? What is? I mean, yes and no. I guess. Not all. That sounds good. A mandatory single-payer system would be better, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. There should be a mandatory single-payer option that's streamlined and less expensive, so that everybody can contribute to it. The thing is if like everybody paid into insurance, then you're younger. Like, yeah, you're gonna eat up more of the bill, but then when you get older, you're gonna be able to be like covered, and that's like kind of the whole idea. Should the federal government increase funding of healthcare for low-income individuals? I don't know. I don't know. Do we have not enough funding for Medicaid? I don't think so. I would say no. I don't know. Oh yeah, I prefer a single payer system. There you go. That one's pretty important to me, actually. These are more important to me. Do you support single payer healthcare? Yeah, for sure. But yes, but allow people to use private insurance. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I personally would probably go on public insurance, but like I think it'd be good for people to maintain private insurance. Like it's a slow transition period that allows private insurance to, it's the free market to see if like private insurance is actually still possible or practical, and it gives us time to transition off of it. So I would say that, and I think that's rather important to me. Should the U.S. raise taxes on the rich? Well, yeah. I think another problem is. Yes, and raise taxes on all income brackets. I don't know about that. I think a bigger problem is corporate tax dodging is a big issue. And flat tax is a terrible idea. And abolishing the income tax. Here's the thing, guys. Here's what I want to bring up. So, when it comes down to it, this is what I would say. By the way, someone asked why raise taxes on the rich, because the 1% of the population owns like 90% of the wealth, and that's just not good. Here's what I would say. Why no flat taxes? I know people are like, "Oh, Papa, why would?" The thing is, like, flat taxes are what we consider, or what they're called, regressive taxes. So basically, a regressive tax effectively hurts. It hurts poorer people more, right? Because the idea is like, okay, so let's say we had a 10% flat tax. So now somebody making $10,000 a year is getting taxed $1,000. That $1,000 means more to the person making 10 grand a year than $10,000 means to somebody making 100 grand a year. So there's a diminishing returns on the amount of money that you have. So that's why I really don't like regressive taxes in general. Ideally, I would say that we should almost exclusively have income tax. Like we should just have income tax. I mean like even get rid of taxes on all foods and whatnot. Get rid of taxes on foods and other items in that respect. So I would just say like we should exclusively have um, income tax, marginal tax rates, just taxes based on the that trend upwards based on how much money you make. That would be ideal. It's not practical. I advocate for a value-added tax when it comes to implementing UBI, and I acknowledge that a value-added tax is a regressive tax rate, and like it's not optimal, but like it's a good way to start, and then we can slowly reorient our funds and like figure out a way, as we can figure out a way to pay for universal basic income. So yeah, I would say I would just say yes, raise taxes on the rich. I'm pretty up on that one because like rich people do need to contribute more, like hyper rich people. Oops, I had to hit my keyboard. Should the government raise the federal minimum wage? No. Let me see what else we have. Yeah, no, it's not a good idea. I would say no only because it hurts small businesses, only cause prices to increase. No, I would say like, add my own stance. No, it hurts. Let's see, it hurts small business and causes big business to turn to faster. There you go. That's my stance. I'm very important to me. Should the U.S. raise? And that's the thing we talked about. I think I talked about it a little bit before. But like a $15 hour minimum wage does just that. It's going to hurt small businesses. It's going to make some of them have to close and cut hours and cut people and just offer a poorer product. And big corporations, not only can they afford $15 hour minimum wage, but they can also afford to invest into technology, and they're already doing that. So there's a lot of technologies that displace jobs, and one of those is as simple as going to the grocery store and seeing a self checkout. You have one person manning 4 to 8 stations. That's huge. That's a big thing. And they're just going to continuously cut down these jobs. So increasing the federal minimum wage is not a really good idea. Should the U.S. raise or lower the tax rate for corporations? I don't know. Here's the problem, man. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say lower. I would say, yeah, I would say. I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing with I don't know how to answer this question necessarily, because there's a lot of corporate tax dodging. And so we don't know what's fair and what's not. But not only is there corporate tax dodging, but there's also states give massive cuts to taxes for corporations just for existing in their state. And like it really like overall it's like a really just a stupid thing. It's just not helpful. So like I don't know if we should increase them. I don't know. I would say keep them right now because I don't really truly understand to what extent. Is this like optional or do you always have to put that in there or whatever? Who cares? Should the government increase environmental regulations to prevent climate change? Yeah. Sure, I would say yes and provide provide incentives for alternative energy. Sure. Well, taxing carbon emissions is effectively the same thing as regulating people. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, sure. I don't know. Provide incentives for. I would do that one. I would say like carbon tax emissions. Like that's a weird thing. Like, should the government increase environmental regulations? Like, yeah, through carbon tax decentives, like a carbon tax. Yeah, I don't know. Both of these are good answers. What the fuck? I would say yeah, like do like tax carbon emissions and while also providing more incentives for cleaner energy. I don't understand. Should the U.S. withdraw from the Paris? No, I don't think so. I mean, like maybe this until other countries are held to the same standards. That's fair. The thing is like no, not necessarily. I don't know. The thing is like I know there's other countries. The thing is like places like India and China are destroying the environment. Nobody cares. But the biggest thing is like withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement. It makes the United States look weak because we went back on a promise. And like excuse me, the reality of the situation is that when a president does something, generally speaking, especially when it comes to like more of a foreign policy, that thing should be maintained as long as like generally be maintained. I mean, of course, there's bad public there's bad choices that are made. But like generally speaking, we should be able to uphold our promises. And so I would say no. And like we can pressure other countries at the same time. I would say like no. We should pressure other countries to reduce their emissions, of course. Should disposable products such as plastic cups, plates, and cutlery that contain less than 50% of biodegradable material? No, but yeah, no. I don't know. This is interesting. I would say tax, but increased tax. No, I would say no, but like I wouldn't say increased tax incentives. I would say like no. If anything, like don't increase tax incentives. Like tax people more for using these products. Here's my thing, right? And the reason I didn't pick no increased consumer incentives is because like the unrealistic, man. For instance, like back in the day when we switched over to plastic bottles, when they went from glass to plastic because it's cheaper, instead of saying to corporations, "Hey, we're going to make you responsible for this, so you shouldn't use plastic," we decided to put it on consumers. And what happens is nobody cares. If we had put it on the businesses who are utilizing these products, it would have been more effective. They simply would have just not chosen not to use it, or they would have been taxed more. I really don't necessarily believe in putting things on the consumer. I know I'm a supporter of a value-added tax. I think that's much simpler. When it comes to like recycling and carbon emissions, though, it's much more of a consumer. I mean, rather a corporation. I would say the corporation should be holding the brunt of it. Do you support the use of nuclear energy? For sure, man. What are the other stances? I don't. What does it matter if it's public subsidy? It's a good idea. It's very energy efficient. I don't really know. I don't really know I'm not educated on the subsidy aspect of it. Should the government require children to be vaccinated? Like, I got no reason for it, but I would honestly say no. I don't think that you should be forced to. I really don't think that you should be forced to get a vaccine. I know the dangers of what I'm saying. I know that I know what I'm saying is bad. I know that like, when someone like 100 kids get vaccinated and then one doesn't, that kid is more like can get sick and then can spread it to other people because vaccines are more effective against very like low cases of a particular thing, right? Like a flu vaccine is very effective against a weak flu, but if somebody has a full-blown flu, of course it can penetrate the vaccination. But like I really don't think that we should be forcing people. It makes me very uncomfortable. Maybe required in order to go to public school for the reason I just said. I don't know. I'm going to leave it as a no. I just don't got anything. Should producers be required to label genetically? Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't care. I don't think that GMOs are inherently wrong. I mean, it's just genetically modified food. It doesn't mean it's inherently bad. But, like, I guess label it. Yeah, consumers have a right to know what's in their food. That part is fair. This is good. I trust the science of responsible food engineering, but I don't trust the motives of the food companies. Yeah, I agree with that very heavily. Should the government increase spending on public transportation? I don't know. Our government, not the government. Our government sucks ass when it comes to public transportation. I don't know. Maybe. Yes. Probably. But I don't know that I care that much. I don't care about the free aspect of it. Again, though, it makes more sense to make it free rather than, again, we're doing, it's a regressive tax to an extent. I don't know what this part means. I don't care. We're just going to leave it at a yes. Should the government increase or decrease military spending? I think that, generally speaking, I think the government should maintain its military spending and start tightening up. And the ways I would do that is reallocate resources towards more physical infrastructure, technological infrastructure. We need better cybersecurity, and like also there's like a big thing like the military gets so much money, and they're told that if they don't spend it all in a year, then they lose their budget in the future. And so like the military, I think itself, it has like $50 to $100 billion left over at the end of the year, and they just burn it on BS. And like that's something that needs to change. I would say I'm not really satisfied with it, but I would say neither. Should U.S. accept refugees? I mean, like we're supposed to. We're supposed to accept them, right? That's like that's an agreement that the United States made. So I'd say yes. I don't really care about these things. Should foreign terrorism such as be given constitutional rights? No. No, but they should get like, international rights. Should the government continue to fund Planned Parenthood? That's a weird question. Most of the funding for all the governmental funding, I believe, from Planned Parenthood comes from people who are poor using it and getting like funding through like Medicare. So like we're not directly giving these places funding, right? So I don't know that we necessarily should get rid of it. Um, I would just say yes, and like not to be like people say like a lot of people are like yeah, the government should get planned. Like again, the funding doesn't come directly from the federal government. It comes from people that are on like Medicare and Medicaid using Planned Parenthood, right? And here's the reality: it says yes as long as funding is not used for abortions. I'm not trying to be that guy, but from a pragmatic perspective, I'm not exactly thrilled about poor people having too many kids. So if a poor person wants to go and get an abortion on the government dime, I'd rather spend $500 of my tax money than $500 a month in tax money to support that individual on welfare programs or foster care system. So yes, honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm pro-choice. Um, I'm kind of like a pro-choice, but ban after the first 3 months, to be honest with you. Um, I understand the necessity for it later on. Right now, the split is like 10% from the first trimester, maybe like 8%. I don't remember. I don't know. I'm pro-choice though. It makes me very uncomfortable when we get past the first trimester though. You know, should gender identity? Oh my god. Should gender identity be added to the anti-discrimination laws? My thing is like, yes, but only if they're diagnosed with gender dysphoria. Because I'm not. Well, we shouldn't be allowing people to just be like, I'm trans, protect me. Now you have to. Nah. Like, what does that mean though? What does that mean? Should it be like, what is gender identity and anti-discrimination laws? Like, I mean, I don't care. I should be able to misgender whoever I want. Let's see. What's this mean? Oh my goodness, get out of here. Get out of here. I would say, let's say, we're gonna add our own stance. Yes, but only for people who are diagnosed with gender dysphoria. How's that one? I know you guys don't like that answer. Should convicted criminals have the right to vote once they're out of jail? Yeah, okay, there you go. Once they're out of jail, why wouldn't you? That's the whole point, is to be reformed. Why would I be like, no? You're supposed to be reformed. Jail is supposed to exist as reformation, and it's supposed to get people to to go clean. The problem with that is that our jails don't exist like that, but they should. So yeah, of course, once you're done with your probation, no, parole and probation. I don't care about that part. Whatever, this is fine. Do you support mandatory minimum prison sentences for people charged with drug possession? I don't know. What the hell does that mean? Yeah, maybe. Drug dealers, not users. Sure. I don't know. Who cares? Should non-violent prisoners be released from jail in order to reduce overcrowding? Sure. Yeah. Sure. I don't care. I mean, if they're non-violent, I don't really care. Let's just say that you put on. I don't know about that. Community service on a daily basis. Like, yes, but they should still be monitored. But like, I don't understand why we have to be so aggressive about it. This is a long ass test. In 2020 New York District 2 House of Representatives elections were held today. Which candidate would I vote for? Who the are these people? I don't know. Who cares? Here's my other stance. Suck my dick. That's my stance. All right. If it was held today, I'd probably vote Donald Trump. I have to look into Joergensen. Poggers. Which qualities are you most important to you as a candidate? Let's see. Honesty, for sure. I don't really necessarily care about morality. I think it's very subjective. Determination. I guess. I mean, common sense, communication, leadership. How many am I allowed to choose? Why wouldn't I just choose all of them? Accountability, yeah. Transparency, sure. Yeah, like, why wouldn't I want... I mean, I don't care about consistency per se. Commitment, I don't really care. They should be smart, but, like, that's the I guess morality, effectiveness, I don't know. Let's just show the results. Here we go, guys. Let's watch this ad. Just kidding. Just kidding. Freak you. Let's see what we got here, guys. No, thank you. I don't need to share it. Let's see. What the hell is this? I just want to know what does this all mean to me? Get out. This ad's out of here. What does this mean to me? What does this mean? I don't know what any of this means. I'm not a Democrat. 69 PogChamp, am I right, guys? My ballot? I don't know who the f any of these people are. What is happening here? Like, I just wanted you to tell me. Go back. What the hell I was. This is weird to me. Democrat. Oh no. I'm 61% socialist. Ah! Women equality. Get this. How do I get rid of this one? What? That's women equality? Really? That's interesting. I don't want to support my party at all. What, is there communist on here? No, there's no communist. Oh, it's just look at the communists. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Turn the alerts back on.
Papa got to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.